teaching at Shaggin, Montreal, thanks to Owen. Today's class we talked about finding more movement and inspiration in Shag so that you can make the dance more your own. One of the most common complaints we hear about Shag is there's not enough room for musicality, there's not enough room to really move around and dance a lot because the frame and the footwork tends to be very rigid. So we worked on isolating different body parts that you can move and be musical with and accentuate your own dance with. But the key is that when you're moving them, you don't disrupt your Shag footwork or your Shag frame. So we talked about what body parts and joints we can move around. The first one I talked about is the head. There's a lot of directions we can look with the head. We talked about shoulders, up and down, forward, back, rolling. I have a lot of movement here I can play with. Arms, you can move them in front of you, behind you, up and down, as long as it's not disrupting the frame that you're dancing with. We talked about ribcage movement, which is just kind of subtly in the middle of your body, where can you find circles and movement to play with the music there. We talked about hips, side to side, forward, back, circles. So as an example, if you're doing Shag with whichever footwork you like, and the music inspires me to, I can move my head around a little bit to play with the dance. Or maybe I want to move my shoulders. Maybe this feels appropriate for the dance. Maybe it's a dance about arms. Notice I can move my arms, my pulse stays the same. Even if I'm holding my partner, I can keep my frame. Maybe I want rib cage. This one's a little harder to find movement, but it's kind of fun. Maybe hips, as long as I'm not disturbing that partnership. What can I do there? You can move a few body parts at once, maybe head and shoulders. Maybe ribs and arms. So you can play with that to explore different body parts you've never moved before while maintaining your Shag footwork and frame. We did an exercise, which I think is great to practice, where I made Tony Fraser, my amazing dance partner, be my little bass for a minute, and he's gonna yell out body parts for me to try to start exploring more movements in while I practice my Shag footwork and pulse.
Head, wrist, head and wrist. Arms, bring your arm behind you. Hold your head. Stop with the arm, stop with the head. Hips, please. Wrist.
Yes. So different qualities of it. We talked about how the body part you're isolating can make a smooth movement. It can make a more staccato movement depending on the music. So we take inspiration from the music, we add it to the dance without disrupting our Shag footwork. We also talked a lot about maintaining your own balance and weight, because that's really important. If you're going to add to your own dance, you have to be over your own balance and weight. We did exercises traveling across the floor, staying over our own weight. Practicing turning. Turning without letting the shoulders or hips come out of alignment. We talked about how in turns, whether they're smooth or they're pulsing, your shoulders are always on top of your hips, so you don't have to rely on your dance partner to hold you up. We talked about when you do a turn, in Shag, if you're using your quick quicks, you only have 2 quick quicks to get around. You have to get halfway around and halfway around in order to finish the turn on your own, whether you're a leader or a follower. So we practiced a lot. Turn, turn. Some people tried double turns on their own. That's another exercise you can practice on your own to practice staying over your own weight. We did a pattern across the floor where we traveled and we used a smooth turn, wave kicks, second one, 3, turn, stop. Then we played with adding body parts into that in isolations from the first half of the class. So maybe I want to do that pattern and use my shoulders. Becomes a different dance, doesn't it? Almost doesn't look like the same thing. Maybe arms. Maybe head. So there's a lot you can play with, and every version feels and looks different and will feel different to different music. And then we got together with our partners and we kind of practiced those isolations and those balances and turns with our partnerships, and everyone looked amazing, and I had a great time, and I hope you guys did too.